What's going on, guys? This is just kind of going to be an unscripted, just go with the flow video about my thoughts and reactions on NFL Week 1 as it pertains to the scope of the NFL as well as sports betting and fantasy football. It was kind of a crazy weekend. There's some things that happened that we kind of saw coming, but there's a lot that happened that I think surprised a lot of us. I know it sure surprised me. I'm going to get me kind of out of the way here and just dump me in the corner over there. Just for starters, guys, Chiefs-Ravens, great first game of the season, guys. That was a rematch of the AFC Championship, and those teams did not disappoint. I did think the Ravens kind of killed themselves with coaching. They took the same approach that they took in the AFC Championship game. That was just dumb. I don't understand it. They went out and they ran the ball all the way down the field with Lamar and with Derrick Henry, and they stopped doing it. They started throwing the ball. I don't know why they started throwing the ball. It was just kind of weird to me. Same thing they did in the AFC Championship. Like I said, they abandoned the run game. You got Derrick Henry, a good running back there. You've got the best rushing quarterback since Michael Vick, maybe ever. There's an argument to be made there that he might even be as good, if not better, than Vick. And they just kind of abandoned the run game. Lamar did tuck it and pull and run quite a bit. A lot of these 16 carries he had here were not designed. There were a lot of designed ones, I will say that, but a lot of these were tuck and run based on pressure or just seeing holes in the defense. Most of the time in man coverage, obviously, you're not going to want to tuck it and run against zone coverage unless backers bail. But I just didn't understand the game plan there. Chiefs look like they may have a shot to three-peat, guys. That offense looks legit again. Their defense is solid, just like they were last year. And with the addition of Xavier Worthy and that speed, it adds a whole new dynamic to their offense. Whole new element is what I meant to say, and they haven't even gotten Hollywood Brown yet. So I mean, you put those two on the field together with Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce, and the way Noah Gray played, Chiefs look good, guys. That one, I'm not a Chiefs fan, as you can tell. I'm actually kind of a Chiefs hater, but I'm not stupid, and I will admit when someone's good, it's disappointing. Then we got the Eagles and the Packers. That game kind of went as a lot of us thought it was going to. High-scoring game, two good offenses. Unfortunately, Jordan Love is out. So for fantasy purposes, for all you guys that have fantasy teams, and you have Jordan Love on your team, I'm sorry, he's out. They're thinking about Week 6, maybe a possible return, maybe the Week 7. But Jordan Love is out for the foreseeable future. And then the Eagles looked like they did at the beginning of last season. They didn't look like they had looked at the end of the season last year, where they just kind of fell apart and that offense was not clicking. Eagles look good. This one right here, guys, I don't know if anybody expected this. Would somebody expect the Panthers to lose by 37 points? Absolutely. But would somebody expect the Saints to do it? I'm not going to say they probably would. I mean, Derek Carr did not have his best season last year. He was in the MVP race in his second year in the NFL. So Derek Carr has it in him to be good. He didn't do anything special, but he didn't do anything wrong to lose the game. Obviously, you see here only 200 yards, but he threw for 3 TDs. They just played well as a team overall. The Saints dominated that game. Kind of what I was expecting out of the Panthers, but not really out of the Saints. I don't expect that to continue all season. I don't see the Saints putting up numbers like that over week in and week out. But something to watch for fantasy, right? And to be honest, Chris Olave, their best offensive player, didn't even get involved really. He had 3.2 fantasy points, I believe, in PPR leagues. So they didn't even get their best player involved. Maybe they will. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will have a really good offense this year. This is one of the two that I really wanted to talk about. The Broncos and then down there at the Bears. The Broncos and Bears probably had, outside of the Panthers, the two worst offenses in the NFL in Week 1. Bo Nix looked absolutely awful. I haven't watched the coaches tape yet. I'm going to go dive into the coaches tape on a lot of these games. so I didn't get to see too much of the scheme and what's going on downfield, but I can't imagine Sean Payton is dialing up checkdowns on the third step or on the fifth step or on the rocker step. It was almost as if Bo Nix was looking in his drop back. First target was not there, so he was just checking it down. And the reason I say that is because the checkdowns were coming so quick, there wasn't even a lot of time for backers to really sink into their zones and actually give a checkdown a fair chance to make a play. I mean, you look at it, Jaleel McLaughlin, I believe, let me click on the box score here and confirm, but I believe he had 5 catches for 1 yard. McLaughlin, 5 catches for 1 yard. Javonte Williams, 1 catch for 0 yards. The checkdowns were not working. Michael Burton here, 1 catch for 3 yards. He was going to the check down way too fast, not really letting the play develop, and stuff may have been covered, but I can't see that being the game plan, to just drop back and hit your check down. And credit to the Seahawks, they ran to the ball, they rallied, and they wrapped up. They tackled really well. Broncos are going to struggle if they can't break tackles one-on-one, and if they can't throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field. When they did, they struggled. Bo Nix threw an interception into triple coverage to Cortland Sutton, and then his first interception to Cortland Sutton. Actually, Sutton was behind the defense, but Nix threw it off his back foot. Terrible decision. Obviously, if he has his feet set, he could probably throw that to the back pylon. We might be looking at a touchdown, but when you got pressure in your face off your back foot, you can't make that throw unless you're one of those freak of nature, one-of-one type of players like Patrick Mahomes. He might be able to make that throw. But Bo Nix is not that dude. So the Broncos were extremely disappointing as far as their offense goes. And then I just want to jump down here to the Bears. For as much hype as they were getting, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I will say I was, so far in week 1, it's a long season, but so far in week 1, the Bears offense looked about how I thought they would look. Caleb Williams is a rookie quarterback. Everybody expected him to come out and light it up and just start slicing up defenses like he was in high school still. That's not what's going to happen, guys. Caleb Williams is an incredible talent. He could end up being that guy, but I think everybody needs to pump the brakes on the Bears offense and realize that's not what they're going to be right away. These 24 points, not a reflection of that offense, guys. They had a pick six. They had a kickoff return to the house. So really, without the special teams and the defense, Titans lose that game. So I'm not impressed with the Bears offense yet. Like I said, it's first game, rookie quarterback. There was a lot of new pieces there. It's something you guys heard me say back in April when they drafted Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze. Everybody's thought, Bears to the Super Bowl. No, there's a lot of new pieces there. They got Keenan Allen's new. Roma Dunze obviously is new. DeAndre Swift is new. Their quarterback, most important piece of an offense, is brand new. So I'm not jumping on the Bears hype train quite yet, and they didn't look very good at all. Steelers-Falcons, this was, I think, the shocker of the week. That was a hype train that I was jumping on because although a lot of people could argue, yeah, you say that the Bears had a lot of new, the Falcons do too. They did, but they didn't. So here's what I mean by that. The Bears had a rookie receiver, a rookie quarterback running everything, an old, aging Keenan Allen. DJ Moore was a solid, stable piece. And then DeAndre Swift, who's been a good running back in the NFL, but I wouldn't say he's a top-tier running back. And then you have the Falcons, who have a top-3 running back in the league. They have Drake London, a former number 8 overall pick at receiver, who is extremely talented, as good as, if not better than anybody that the Bears have, talent-wise. Kyle Pitts, probably the highest-rated tight end to be drafted, at least in the last 20 years. I mean, the next person I can think of that was that hyped up coming out of college was Vernon Davis, back when he was drafted by the 49ers, just because of his athleticism, his freakish talent. The only new addition was head coach Raheem Morris and offensive coordinator Zach Robinson. That is new. That is huge. That's key. I do think the Falcons will settle in, get used to that offense. And then Kirk Cousins. But the difference between Cousins being new and Caleb Williams being new is Cousins is a seasoned veteran. He's been successful on 2 separate teams in the NFL, so that's a lot different than Caleb Williams, who statistically was successful at USC, but didn't win shit, to be honest, at USC, other than his own personal Heisman Trophy. He didn't do anything for his team, and his teammates actually celebrated when he left and did not play in the bowl game. They were outspoken and said, finally we can be a team now that Caleb's gone. Like, I don't know. That's just my take on that. Falcons shocked me. I really thought they would dominate this game, not only win, but I thought they would dominate it. And they didn't, but the one thing that's not surprising is Mike Tomlin always finds a way. Steelers 1-0. We're used to hearing that. Steelers 1-0. Next, Cardinals, Bills. Bills looked good, not great. Cardinals looked a little better than I thought they would, putting up 28 points against the Bills. I don't know how they're going to do, man. The Bills didn't really impress me to the point where I would say they're hands down a Super Bowl contender. Let me kind of caveat that with whenever Josh Allen is your quarterback, you have a chance, but was not impressed. Keon Coleman, 4 catches, 51 yards, I believe. Yeah, right here, 4 catches, 51 yards. Not exceptional for what everybody's hyping him up to be. Some people think that he is the next great receiver in this league. He's not. Khalil Shakir did his thing, 3 catches, had a touchdown. Not crazy numbers for a receiver, but good production from a guy that not a lot of people even know his name, and I think he's going to be the top receiver this year in Buffalo. Coleman, like I said, that's not a bad game, but it's not something that impresses me through the roof. Like Brian Thomas Jr., that dude had a great game for Jacksonville. But Bills, Cardinals, it's just kind of eh. Patriots, Bengals, another shocker. Obviously, you got Joe Burrow on your team. You have a chance to be a contender. And they went out and they shit the bed against the Patriots. Some people were predicting them to go 0-17. Well, that's out the door now because they're 1-0 with Gerard Mayo as their head coach. Not much else I'm going to say about that game. Texans-Colts, guys, that was a really good one. I enjoyed watching that game. I watched a lot of it. Texans, I do think, are a contender to make a deep run. Can they beat the Chiefs? We don't know yet, but they certainly have the talent and the coaching to do it. The Colts, I think, although they started 1-0, they dropped this one to the Texans. They're going to be a problem for a lot of teams in the NFL this year, especially if Anthony Richardson can throw some dots like he did the other day. Here's that Jaguars game, guys. Dolphins-Jags. Dolphins struggled for a little bit. They came back. They ended up winning the game. Obviously, you guys heard about the whole Tyreek debacle before the game, and then he goes out and just straight balls. 7 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown. Brian Thomas, the 4 catches for 47 yards. It's very similar to Keon Coleman. He did add the touchdown. So, like I said, I said he balled. He balled in the sense that he got the touchdown. Fantasy-wise, he balled, right? 8 points plus the touchdown. That's 14 points in fantasy. I do expect him to continue to grow his role. He was the leading targeted receiver, I believe. I know he had the most catches. And yes, he had 4 targets. I remember reading that somewhere. So Thomas, I think, is going to have a good season. He will be the number 1 in Jacksonville. And Lawrence didn't have a crazy good game, but he didn't have a bad game either. Vikings, Giants, guys, that went about how we expected. Giants are not very good. Not a very good football team at all. Malik Neighbors did put up 5 catches for 66 yards despite having awful quarterback play. Raiders-Chargers, guys, both those teams are kind of this year. They're not exciting for anybody. Even if you're Raiders or Chargers fans, there's not much to get excited about there. Raiders have Gardner Minshew as their quarterback. Chargers kind of finding out their identity. I do like Ladd McConkey. Obviously, Justin Herbert's one of the best in the game, but I just don't think they have enough weapons on offense to be relevant long-term throughout the entire season. Just my take on it. Cowboys looked really good. Their defense put up 23 points in fantasy. If you guys don't remember, about mid-July, I told you guys to draft the Cowboys defense in fantasy because it's going to matter this year. And sure enough, right here, if you guys remember, I told you there's one player in particular why you should draft the Cowboys defense. Kevontae Turpin, their kick and punt returner. This was a punt return for a touchdown, but think about the new kickoff rules. It's going to matter. Cavonte Turpin, don't be shocked if he houses a couple more kickoffs this season. That's why I drafted the Cowboys in my fantasy leagues, because of Turpin. Obviously, their defense is good too. They got Parsons, they got Overshown, they got Deron Bland, Diggs. They've got a good defense in and of itself, but the return game is why I targeted the Cowboys. You should too. If for some reason they are not rostered in your league, go pick them up. This is going to be all season. Now, they may not get 23 points a game. That's ridiculous to expect that from a defense, but I think they're going to be the top scoring defense at the end of the year. They're going to help you win your league. And so far, they're doing exactly why I said to draft the Cowboys defense. Commanders, Bucks. Baker Mayfield looked really good. Can't stand that dude as a person. I don't like his antics on the field. He has matured a lot. I'll give him that. But a lot of stuff he does just kind of bothers me. I'm very old school, if you guys don't know. I like to just play the game with respect, and for the game and your opponents. Play the game, score a touchdown, hand the ball to the ref, go back and do it again. Talk with your play, not with your mouth. It's just my 2 cents on Baker Mayfield. But he had a really good game. 289 yards, 4 touchdowns. He looked good. He looked solid. Chris Godwin played well. Another guy that I was big on in week 1 just due to the slot, him being in the slot a lot, and the Commanders' production against slot receivers last year. I actually took out Tank Dell and played Chris Godwin over that. The guy I was playing against was like, "Did you really just sub out Dell for Godwin?" I said, "Watch." And sure enough, I'm 1-0. Actually, I'm 4-1 in my fantasy leagues so far this year in week 1. Rams-Lions, another good game, guys. I think both of those teams are going to be good this year. Lions, obviously, in the NFC Championship last year. They're going to push for that again. They look solid. St. Brown didn't even really get involved, so they're only going to get better from here on out. It is week 1, though. You guys know, in week 1, beginning of the season, usually defenses are ahead of offenses. I expect a lot of these offenses to pick it up a little bit as the season goes on. Rams didn't look great, didn't look bad. They do lose Puka Nacua now for 4 weeks at least. He's on the IR, the short-term IR, so that could hurt them. But they have Cooper Kupp still. He's healthy. And don't be surprised if Jordan Whittington gets a little bit involved. The rookie, he had a great preseason, so he may start getting some tick for the Rams. And then Jets-Niners. Guys, the Niners look legit. They didn't even have Christian McCaffrey. Jordan Mason came out and plugged into that role and played it well. All right, this one just ended about 2 hours ago. Thoroughly impressed with the Niners and how they played. The one downside is they didn't finish drives. They had, 6 field goals and 2 touchdowns, so 18 points just off of field goals. So not super impressive, guys. But you guys watched the game. The Niners overall very impressive, but the way they didn't finish drives was not impressive. That's not very inspiring. Purdy didn't have a single touchdown. They'll try to get that fixed and worked out. I do think they'll still be a great team this year. Just the field goal amount concerned me slightly. Jets, a lot of people are picking them to win the Super Bowl, and they did not look that great. I'm just going to put that out there. They did not look that great at all. I want to pull up the box score. I don't even remember what Brees finished with. 54 yards, 3.4 yard average for one of the top 3 running backs in the NFL. That is not good. Aaron Rodgers, under 200 yards passing. This offense was supposed to be all-world. What are they doing? Hopefully they can figure it out, because that was supposed to be fun to watch. I'm not a Jets fan, so when I say hopefully, it's not like I'm pulling for them. But it was going to be a fun offense to watch. Hopefully they can turn that around and give us something to watch this year. That's my take, guys, on these first week NFL Week 1 games. What do you guys think? Do you think there's anything that I missed in there? Any shocks that you guys can bring up that I didn't cover? Like I said, the Broncos and Bears offense being putrid was a big shock for me. The Falcons not being able to put their offense together, huge shocker for me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll check out the comments after this video. If you guys follow my channel, you know it's mostly sports betting and fantasy football stuff, but I am going to start making some videos like this where I just give my 2 cents on what I think about what's going on in the NFL, reactions from week 1, reactions week by week. Hopefully I'll have time to do that for you all. If you like this stuff, please hit that subscribe button, guys. It helps me out a ton. I appreciate any support I can get from you guys. And then jump into the free pick playlist down here on my channel. I do free picks all the time. We can win our sports bets together. We just hit a big one today, Niners -4. A lot of people, when I put that out, said you're crazy. The Niners are not going to beat the Jets by 4 or more points. Well, what was the result? 32-19? Yeah, 32-19. Niners covered for us, guys. We're winning in the VIPs. We're winning on the free picks. NFL, I'm not going to lie, it was a down week for me. We didn't do great on the player props. Now, in the books, we did pretty well. But in the player props, I'm not going to lie, guys. It was a pretty rough start to the football season for me on the player props. College football has been a different story. We've been doing very well in college football, but on the sports books in the NFL, we did pretty well this weekend. Like I said, we hit a big one tonight that I gave out my VIPs. It was kind of last minute. I put out the pick yesterday, Niners -4. I was watching those lines all week, seeing how they were moving. They were anywhere from 2.5 to 4.5. Found it for -4. We got a -115 odds on that one. So $100 won me 86. I don't know what else my VIP members put in as their units, but $100 won me $86. So get in on the VIPs, guys. I do have a game day pass for you to try it out. You don't have to jump in for the full season, but the game day pass right now, 50% off for the first 25 people that use code TUA. T-U-A, code TUA. I'm not a Dolphins fan. Don't accuse me of being a homer, but Tua lit up the stat sheet this week and threw for over 300 yards. So that's why it's code Tua, 50% off on the game day pass. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.